Hi, I'm Kay. Today we're making gluten-free sourdough double chocolate chip cookies. So we're going to start off with our gluten-free sourdough starter. So here I'm just pulling this out of the fridge and it hasn't been fed. Now I feed my starter just brown rice flour, but you can use other whole grain flours too. A little bit of water. You do want to ensure that the starter is nice and thick. That's how I use it in all my recipes. Right, now we're going to measure out half a cup. And you can use it if it's a little bit sour, but I wouldn't recommend using discard, that's super sour for this recipe. 1 tablespoon of psyllium husk, and psyllium husk is what binds everything in this recipe. And 1/3 cup of water. I'm just going to give that a quick mix. So that's just to ensure that the psyllium gets going, because sometimes it can clump if you don't mix it in first. Right, now we're going to add our cocoa butter molasses mixture in. And if you didn't know, molasses is actually a byproduct from making cane sugar, and brown sugar is actually refined sugar that has molasses added back into it, which is why I don't use brown sugar in any of my recipes. Head for the good stuff, which is the molasses. Right, we're just going to give that a quick mix. You can see it's nice and dark. Then we're going to go in with 1/3 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of white rice flour, 1/2 cup of oat flour. Now I make my own oat flour in my Vitamix, so it's a little more less fine than you would get from store-bought stuff. There we go, and then we're just going to mix that all together. You can smell the molasses, it's really nice. So you just want to form a little bit of a ball, pat it down so it can hydrate. Now we're just going to cover that and put it in the fridge for at least 20 minutes. And the reason why we refrigerate it is because it makes it easier to roll into balls in the next step. Alright, so I have some here that I've already prepared earlier. We'll get our baking tray. Alright, so this is what it looks like after it's refrigerated. So it's a little bit hard, about that big, and then we're going to roll them. So you're sort of aiming for like golf ball size balls, or you can do them slightly smaller or slightly bigger as long as they're all uniform. So I like to refrigerate the batter, and then I just make as many cookies as you want fresh, and then you can pop it back in the fridge and it can stay in there for a few days, and you just, every time you want cookies, you just pull some out and bake some up. Now I did try when testing this recipe to roll them out flat and cut them, but I did find it easiest to roll them like this. In New Zealand we have cookies that are really crisp, and we actually call them biscuits, and we usually enjoy them with tea. So we're actually doing a cold start on these cookies. The reason for that is because we want to slowly drive off the moisture from the water and the starter, and then if you want your cookies chewy, you just pull them out after 25 minutes. But if you like them crisp, you'll see we're going to turn the oven off, flip the cookies and leave them in there for like another half an hour at least. That will ensure they dry out all the way through and then become nice and crisp, which is my favorite way to eat them. Drive safe.
Please subscribe.
Right, now we're going to put our chocolate chips in. And the reason why I didn't do it earlier is because I like to have uniform amount of chocolate chips. Yeah, so if you're doing the chewy version, it doesn't really matter what size you do your chocolate pieces. But if you are doing the crisp version, you want to make sure that the pieces are a little bit bigger so that they hold up to the amount of time that they're in the oven. If you make your cookies bigger, you can fit more chocolate chips on them. But I want to do both milk chocolate and white chocolate on these ones. So we'll see how many we can fit on each. Right now you just want to lightly pat your hands with cold water. And you can use a flat object like the back of a measuring cup if you want. I just find it easier to do it with my hands. And we're aiming for them to be as uniform as possible. Right, now we're going to put them in our cold oven. And turn that on to 150. Put it on for 25 minutes. Right, now we're just going to flip them over. Now turn the oven off and pop them back in to go on dying heat for at least 30 minutes. So here you can see what they look like when they're just come out of the oven. So that's the chewy version. And this one's here are the crisp versions. I like the crispy ones. Let's try the chewy ones too. Oh. That's actually really good too. Double chocolate chip. Can't beat the flavour. I need a cup of tea. Leave a comment below. Do you like chewy cookies or crisp all the way through? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.